Hello, how are you doing? Here we are again with another video to help you prepare successfully for your Cambridge B2 first exam. Now this is another video focusing on key word transformations, part 4 in the reading and use of English paper. In previous videos we've looked at the general way to approach and do this exercise. This video is focusing specifically on phrasal verbs. So let's test some of your phrasal verbs and see if you know how to do these transformations. Let's get started. To remind you quickly, there are 6 questions in this part of the exam and there's a maximum of 2 marks for each question. Just to show you an example of the questions, you get a sentence and there's a word and you need to write words in the gap including the words you are given that you must not change, so that the second sentence is as close as possible in meaning to the first sentence. So you're paraphrasing the first sentence. Let's see what you think about this question. Question number 1. Why don't you throw away those old shoes? Said my wife. And the word we are given is rid. So you kind of need to know this phrasal verb to answer this question. How about those old shoes? Do you know the phrasal verb that means to throw something away? If you do, don't forget the grammar rule about verbs following prepositions, because about is a preposition. So if you do know that phrasal verb and you do remember that rule about gerunds after prepositions, you should have how about getting rid of those old shoes. To get rid of is to throw something away, and you need to make it a gerund and a double T to get the correct answer. So 2 points if you got that completely correct. Let's look at another phrasal verb. We decided against employing her because of her lack of experience. Lack means she didn't have any, or she didn't have a lot of experience. There was experience missing, a lack of experience. And the word we must use but cannot change is take. We decided because of her lack of experience. Remember, you must write between 2 and 5 words in the gap, and contractions count as 2 words. Do you know the phrasal verb which means to employ someone? If you do, you may have this answer. We decided not to take her on because of her lack of experience. 2 things to notice here. To take on, the phrasal verb to take on, is a separable phrasal verb, which means you can put her or me or him or them in the middle. Take someone on. And we need the negative, that's the second point. We decided against. So if you decide against something, that's a negative thing. We decided not to employ her, not to give her the job, or we decided not to take her on. Let's go to question number 3. I opened the fridge and saw to my surprise that we didn't have any beer left. So this is a phrasal verb which means that we've used up everything. There is none left. No beer, no milk, no sugar, no wine. Something is missing. I opened the fridge and saw that beer. Do you know that phrasal verb? To run out of. So again, they're testing 2 things here. They're testing that you know that phrasal verb, that run out of something means there's none left. And they're also testing your tenses, because I opened the fridge and saw, past simple, that we had run out of beer. That's past perfect. And it's past perfect because the beer disappeared before I saw inside the fridge. So it shows the difference in past time. Our next question. You should start jogging, dear, my wife said. My wife advised who? Jogging. So to start doing something, especially a hobby, do you know the phrasal verb for that? It's to take up. My wife advised me to take up jogging. Again, we're being tested on two things here. Obviously the phrasal verb, to take something up, to take up a sport, to take up a hobby, to take up football, to take up photography, and in this case to take up jogging, to start doing it. We're also being tested on the verb advise, because you advise someone to do something. Advised me, advised you to, advised us to, etc. Let's look at one more. We launched the business about 4 years ago. To launch a business is to start it, to begin it, to launch it into the world like a rocket. You launch a rocket into space. So which phrasal verb using the word set means to start or launch a business? Any ideas? The business about 4 years ago. Also notice that there is a change in the sentence structure. We launched the business. The business, So we're changing from active, we did it, to passive, it was done. And the answer is, the business was set up about 4 years ago. Who set it up? We don't know. That's why it's in the passive. It doesn't matter. It's not important who set it up, but it was set up about 4 years ago. And notice that we need the past tense because launched, ed, is past simple. So the business was set up. When you're doing these exercises, pay attention, be very careful of the tenses or the tense in the first question. The first sentence. Moving on, I hired a nurse to look after my mother. Look after is a phrasal verb, to look after someone. And there's another phrasal verb with 3 words that's very, very similar to look after. And it has the word care, C-A-R-E. I hired a nurse to, do you know? Take care of my mother. Take care of and look after are very, very similar. And the next one, I won't tolerate your bad behavior any longer. This phrasal verb means tolerate. I refuse your bad behavior any longer. Now be careful, because apart from testing that phrasal verb with put, what happens after I refuse? Is refused followed by a gerund or an infinitive? I refuse to put up with your bad behavior any longer. So put up with is the phrasal verb, and you need the infinitive, to put up with, after refuse. I hope that's been useful. I will create more of these videos to help you with your preparation. If you would like to do a full course that covers reading, writing, speaking, reading and use of English, and listening, then I do have a course that you can take online to see if you're ready for the first exam, make sure you do the level test first. You can do that for free by going to this web page, and if you get 60% or more, I think you're ready. So you can register with Cambridge, and I hope to see you taking the course as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.